All right. Check, check, check one, check two. This is it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Rob Cantrell, coming at you for episode 149, right on time, in the pocket, ready to rock it. I got a fat bag of Stumptown Founders. This is the Founders blend. The Founders blend. It's in this navy blue. Big fan of navy blue. I like blue, light blue, baby blue. But navy blue, there's something official about it. There's something like, I don't know. There's navy blue. You're like, oh, I'm gonna meet the admiral. But it's in a really cool navy blue bag. Founders Cup, Stumptown, whole beans. I got a fat bag of this. I did a great cold brew, ice cold brew. I got a fat tumbler of ice. I grounded the beans last night right before. I've been good. I've been doing it right after I do the dishes. That's all life is doing the dishes after a while. I've been eating a ton at home. I'll be talking more about that. I've been killing some chicken parm, but it's getting fall. So yeah. Eating. But no, let's back to this coffee. Stumptown, Founders Cup. I got a cold brew, a great press. The bag, you got to find a great date. The date, I think this was just like roasted. Let's check out the roast date. The thing about it is, I say this with coffee and herb. A lot of it's just the freshness. So this was roasted on 8/16, and we are into 10. So this is roasted a month ago. So that's pretty good, especially for Stumptown. That's a good one, because it is from Portland. Well, they got roasting houses here. We'll eventually get out there in the field. I like doing this one's from home. Check me out on the Patreon, solo edition, but I got my lucky chalice here filled with Starburst. So yeah, I got a great selection. I got a found. Life couldn't get much better. I've been really focusing on being grateful every day and just on the simple things. And that's what I wanted with this podcast. Just coffee and weed. It's just a very simple pleasure, but it's one of the best. And I enjoy it nearly daily. And it definitely has brought my life a lot of fun and enjoyment and taste, you know. This cup of coffee is just so good. I'm kind of at the tail end of this French press. But I did it overnight. The thing about Stumptown, it is a little strong and stuff like that, but making it a cold brew takes the bitterness out of it. And things are kind of groggy because it's getting cold. People getting sniffles. I got a flu shot. It's kind of getting funky out there. There's mucus buildup in the air with fall. This is the sound of fall. Don't you love the sound of fall? The rustling of leaves and the wind and the smell of fireplaces. And then you also hear people start sniffing snot. One way to battle my mucus has been switching to oat milk. Like I used to drink a lot of milkshakes, ice cream, creamy cream. Never put sugar in my coffee, just mostly cream. But I switched it up to oat milk. First, I'm paranoid of getting gallstones. That's one thing in life. It would be nice to dodge that one. But and that's calcium buildup. So you want to drink a lot of water. A lot of that I hear is like, and then cutting down too much milk. You want calcium for your bones, but you can get it through oat milk. I think it's just that pussiness, that mucus, um, is what, if you're drinking a lot of milk during the fall and the winter, you get a lot of snot, I guess is what I was trying to get to. I didn't want to get that right into the podcast, but I wanted to talk about that because I do go with oat milk a lot, but I will mix it up if there's just regular milk or just regular cream or just even, just that fucking um, vacuum cleaner, office dust, dairy product of some sort that you put into your coffee. Coffee is just so fucking fascinating and hilarious. And because at a certain age you run on it, like, or you don't. So it does wire people up. I think people react differently to different things, and there's different times in your life. But as a comedian and writer and performer and just regular dude, um, out in the real world, making his dreams come true every day. And I definitely think one of my dreams was to have a have a project that was coffee and weed enthused. And that's what we're doing, baby. That's what this is. It's the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Like and subscribe. It's the best podcast in the world. It's positive vibes. It's interesting guests. It's introspective, but not too deep. Well, I mean, it might get deep. I've always been kind of a little deep, but the thing about being deep is you get so introspective, you start to dwell on yourself. And I'm definitely trying to not dwell on myself as much. I kind of go with the feel. Is that what you guys are doing? It's all about the feel. And the feel of this show, I wanted it to be warm, fuzzy, just like a good cup of coffee in a nice clean bowl. And that's what I have. Are you guys digging Raw Papers? Shout out to Raw Papers and that maniac that has the IG and that's their president. Shout out to that cat. He's hilarious and cool. But yeah, that's a great company. But yeah, this lighter's great. I got Raw lighter, and then I got a Marley Naturals one hitter, which is a glass and wooden one hitter. And then I got Starburst strain. I got a great strain. It's not too strong and it's not too weak, but it's not too chemically, but it has a little taste of diesel, which I like. I like a little gas. As I sink lower and lower in this chair. You can watch the video. This is a Patreon as well. So all the videos, how I do it is audio for free, video for Patreon. So, you please like and subscribe. But if you got some extra cheddar and you want me to fly around the world on a helicopter with 2 pet llamas and visiting some of the best coffee places in the world, then definitely sign up to the Patreon because that's what's going down. The chopper's right outside. But yeah, let's try some of this Starburst. Starburst, I know it's I looked it up on Weed Maps. Shout out Weed Maps, great app. Because they'll give you some strains. And the thing about strains, I'm not too nerdy with herb. I do know, I had some outdoor grown that somebody had given me for free, but I think it was heavily indica. So it's like I was in the couch a lot with it. But it definitely it scratched that itch or whatever for whatever cannabis or THC that my body likes to have in it. But it was just a little bit too relaxing. I definitely got some good sleep. But the world is opening up. So I'm more cognizant of my body. I think everybody with quarantining, I've been falling off. I haven't been as zen as I wanted to be. Today I didn't. Yesterday, I've been breaking into the Halloween candy. I've been fucking taking naps. But I think I got everything right. I had too much indica. It was getting me through, but it was kind of taking the edge. But now I kind of got Starburst where it's pleasant, it's not overbearing, but it's also gives me that good sour diesel kind of feeling. I could write I've been making some beats. That's one thing with the podcast I like doing, is just putting some random beats at the end. And I got a music project. I've talked the music project up a ton on this podcast, but it's coming out. It's all together. It just I'm just sealing, I'm putting the lines. The thing about art is what I was doing my coloring. I had got this adult coloring book. But the thing is like I was coloring this flower. I got these Sharpie markers. Is there anything better than talk about aesthetics? Everybody's talking about aesthetics because it's feel. That's what I've been thinking about, or trying not to think about, is to feel. And getting on the phone, which I inevitably do, and I inevitably end up on Instagram, and even been dipping into Facebook. Shout out. My fan page, I like my fan page. It is set up simple. So if you are a super bot, or somebody from middle school, then find me out on Facebook, because I check it from time to time. I'm not hardcore, and I do know this podcast gets kicked on there, but I don't know their algorithms, because I don't feed it that much money or ever. Sometimes I'll boost a Instagram post, but that's about it. And that's very far in between. I know I should be doing all of it. It's algorithm wars. That's what entertainment has become, is straight up algorithm wars. But I'll play the game a little bit. But I also just wanted to create a dope little podcast like this, where I can sample fine cannabis like Starburst, and drink Founder's Cup, and enjoy, the vibes, the good vibes, because the good vibes are coming. The bullshit's always there, but the good vibes are always coming. And the light at the tunnel is yourself. The light at the end of the tunnel is yourself at the end of the day. That's something I've been kicking around in my head. Now the thing is that smoke does look cool on camera. I was just checking it out. I'm trying not to be too narcissistic with my entertainment career, but smoke on camera. And I do love how videos look, and I do love music videos, and I watch a lot, and I love film. And I do love how, like, these newer generations are messing with media. Like, I do think something weird with social media and the access of the artists to be able to do it all themselves. Like, there's a new like sampling and mixing and mastering and like editing and animation. Like, it's all blending together in a cool way. And I've been feeling like this extra energy, and it's just nice that I understand that it's creative energy, and not to like power it up in my mind, but more or less like put it towards like creative shit, whether it's putting together this music project, whether it's I shaved for this project. I was about to get on camera, but I had like a sweatshirt and I was unshaven, and I've been eating like Halloween candy, and I was just looking too much like a professional podcaster. So I was like, sometimes with podcasts, and some of these cats that are big in podcasting have got like, what's that incel vibe, which I'm very far from. Like, I barely fuck with the internet. Like, I kind of do now, because I'm just editing and cutting and scratching and making beats and all that stuff. But when I first started stand up, it was all coffee shops, man. I loved writing high and coffee shops. I loved going to shows. I performed in coffee shops. I performed in comedy clubs. Coffee shops were it's extra awkward. Stand-up comedy is always awkward until you get really good at it. And then if that crowd is great, then it's really fun. But in the beginning and always still, if you still do open mics or funky ass crowds, and coffee shops are, because it's like, it's not really a night place and there's no booze. So people are like, people go to coffee shops to like work on their resume, write a book they'll never publish, and break up with a girlfriend on the internet. Like that's what people do in coffee shops. Or pastime, get really high, make a weird order, debate it, and then ask for the bathroom key, and go to the bathroom. Because that's what happens a lot at coffee shops is people go to the bathroom. You got to have a really solid bathroom if you're going to open a coffee shop. Like if I was going to open the ideal coffee shop, which is the Cannabis Coffee Shop, I know exactly. I would open it up in Virginia. I know the town. I would grow outdoor organic sativa. I would get my seeds from California, from Northern California. I would get the best of the best outdoor grown. I just think they're so light years ahead in terms of like, if aliens were growing weed, they would definitely be growing it up in Humboldt Mountain. Or man, some of that super hashish world. In India. But at the same time with drugs, like it's all about the now. And when you lose your ego, drugs can help you lose your ego. But when you lose your ego, you go back into like animal, like natural form, which is eventually going to die. And that's the thing you got to grasp, or what your body and all that it's grasping. And I think that's what brings out humanity and brings out empathy for others, is that truth. Or I don't know. I don't want to get too that, the Starburst kind of got me going. I did a little bit of I'm trying for the solo ones. I try to put together a little bit of a list and then dance around it. And but shaving was fun. Shaving is fun if you can just slow down. I got my Spotify rocking. I was rocking some specials. I've been playing a little bit of ska. I don't like full on ska. No, I either like it super poppy, upbeat, like Fishbone, almost anarchy. Yo, man, ska is crazy and Fishbone is crazy as a concept. But ska, is like it's like early reggae, or it comes out of reggae, or it comes out of Jamaica dance hall. I guess would be like their sock hops, and a lot like how rock and roll came out of America. But then it's like kind of got like a different beat, an upbeat, and then it has just some certain mannerisms and vibes to ska, the specials. But they came from England, but I think they had one like Jamaican dude in it. England and Jamaica have like this connection. Like there's a lot of English in Jamaica, a lot of Dutch in Jamaica. Jamaica's dope. If you ever get a chance, go to Jamaica, but watch yourself. It's not to be. It's kind of like, I would say. I always. It reminds me of Virginia in the South, but on an island. So it kind of has like this tough mountain, like, not that much money, not that much education for years, but tough, good fishing and hunting and earth people. I would say, people that are close to the land, salt of the earth. I never understood that concept until I got older, and you meet people and you're like, oh. And then other people are like, yo, mountain people of the earth, they got dirt in their hands. There's something about getting dirt on your hands. With comedy, I don't really have that hard, but I have worked hard where my hands have gotten roughed up. And playing guitar, I would say, but I haven't been playing guitar, so my fingers don't have all of the callus. Like you get calluses. It's like painful. There was some kind of Benjamin. I was watching like this streaming like YouTube thing that was like all Benjamin Franklin quotes. I don't know how I got on there. YouTube is dangerous. Not dangerous, but this ended up being kind of positive. But it was something like everything worthwhile, you has to have some pain involved. So that's what I was thinking about blisters and being able to play the guitar. Like your fingers get gnarly, man. Or a baseball player. You ever see a professional baseball players? Their fingers are gnarly, man. Dudes are running over it. You catch a ball weird, your fucking finger goes flying up in there. It's rough. It's hard out there for a pimp. Want to give out a shout out. Oh, I just got my buddy. Shout out to Cornelius Peter. I just picked up his book, The Big Snooze. Shout out. He was he wrote a book, and you could buy it on Amazon. I'm gonna try to do a book a month. And I was good. Just this last week, I've been just off my game a little bit, but I think even me saying that gets in my head. So I'm trying not even to say that. But doing this podcast makes me feel great because I finished a task and I love doing this podcast. So thank you for listening. Remember to like and subscribe. You don't know how much that helps. I'm getting shout outs in the street. That was the other thing. The other day, somebody walked by me and was like, Cannabis Coffee. Yeah. I was like, yo, thanks for listening. I kept it moving. It was kind of like 5 o'clock in New York. Everybody, like, you just don't have time for bullshit. And he was on the move. It wasn't like me. I probably would have talked to him, but he was on the move. So shout out that dude that shouted me out on the street. That was kind of dope about the podcast. That was really dope. So I enjoy doing this podcast. But yeah, shout out to the Roanoke Comedy Festival. Shout out to Neil Peter, who just wrote the book, The Big Snooze. I ordered it on Amazon. It arrived, so it's by my bed, which works, which means I should read it before I go to sleep. But it's like over 300 pages. I was like, oh, he did over 300? 250 is impressive. 300 pages? Holy shit. But when you read a book, I don't know, I'm trying to get into reading a little bit more. It is the only time where you can kind of like really transform into that place in a different way. Like film is great and movies are great. TV is great, but it's almost like a painting. Like you're almost making the reality. And there's something about reading that it gets like when you get lost in it, like I don't know, man. It's something trippy. It's feel. I guess it's feel. And I think you're working your brain in a different way. It's like exercising or runner's high in a sense. I stretched like I wasn't like, because I was like literally doing meditation 20 minutes. No, first doing 5 Tibetan stretches, which is like, it takes like 17 minutes to do. But it's like a series of stretches and exercises. And then I do 20 minutes of meditation. And then with a basketball, I was doing 20 squats. And I was doing that like every day, even before weed, like clear-headed, like straight on. And then I kind of off-filtered that. Yesterday, I did meditate for 20 minutes, but I was really, really high. But it still is 20 minutes is 20 minutes, and it was still like sometimes when you're high, it's extra long and you find those pockets of anxiety. That's what I find when I meditate. You find like these weird pockets of anxiety, but even within the 20 minutes, you see them dissipate and go away. So you put that on a larger scale at life. Like you're just here to feel, to experience. And that's what I'm trying to do, is not to have the narrator talking in my head, but the narrator talking on this podcast, which is the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Please like, and I won't even say like and subscribe anymore. It's a great podcast. It's the man. I think it's great. I listen to it, and when I put it on, I'm like, I get stuck into it, and I'm not even that egotistical that way and narcissistic that way, but I do like the sounds of voices, and I know the setup I got. I know the beats I got. I do want to do more music and get more out. I was gonna get some more stuff out in the field, but um, I am into just being consistent with it, and knocking it out and being able to do solo ones. And as I start doing the road, like the Roanoke Comedy Festival, that was amazing. Shout out to all the comics that was on that show. Shout out to the guy that ran the show, Johnny. Shout out to Tony Deo, who was headlining the other night, who's actually from the same little town in Virginia that we grew up together. We went to middle school, a little bit of high school together. Um, but we were in Roanoke, and yeah, I was downtown. I had a great Airbnb. They put me up. I went hiking on the Appalachian Trail. Uh, like 20 minutes from there is like the best part of the Appalachian Trail. But I went there on a Monday. So lately they've been saying, and there's a lot of lines because everybody's like trying to get out to nature. I'm glad I did it. Like I almost didn't do it, but then I did it. It's like one of those things. And then everything, like right when I pulled up, like a parking spot opened up. And right when I went up, like the rain, it didn't rain. And when I got to the top of the peak, it was just epic. It was all Blue Ridge, just green, beautiful mountains, just like nuggets, big fat cannabis nuggets, big fat weed nuggets, man. The Blue Ridge Mountains are just beautiful, round, good. Um, it's not as epic and big as Colorado or even in California or Wyoming out west, but they're just beautiful and just green and old and very American. I don't know. It's very cool. If you ever get a chance to, hikes are good. Like this one was like 4 miles up and 4 miles back. So in a total 8 miles. So it took like it took half the day, but it didn't rain and my shoes held up. They weren't super ideal, but they held up because the trail was like beaten down. And I've done enough hiking that I know, and I've rolled my ankle enough. I know how hard to push it. And I like to walk. I do like to walk it out. I mean, that was one of the reasons I loved coming to New York, was just walking, hitting the one hitter, you got your iPhone, you got your iPod, you're rocking beats. I don't do that as much anymore now because there's so many delivery cats, and maybe I'm older and wiser. I don't listen to music when I'm walking around New York because you just the element of surprise is always out there, and the times are changing. So sometimes I'm like, everybody's cool, and then I'm like, everybody's desperate. I think everybody's like fear level of opening up since the pandemic is like, dancing around a little bit. But we're getting through it, and like going down to Virginia was weird. Like I performed it, but I got a negative COVID test afterwards. But I performed in a room of like over 100 people unmasked. I mean, it was vaccinated, but it was down south, so it was still, and it was small town politics, so it was still, I don't know. But no, the good people of Roanoke were awesome. It came out the show. The crowd was dope. I ate chicken and waffles one night. I ate a great buffalo chicken sandwich the other night. I got some biscuits. I got some coffee. Um, yeah, Roanoke's a cool. I mean, I think with cannabis legalization, like if somebody leaned in down there, because those towns aren't as found out as California or New York or Woodstock. In their little cool towns. It's just you do have a lot of Trump. Like there was this big, as dreamy as I say all this shit, there was like this big billboard about doomsday prepping. Like, you know, you can go run, you and your boys, you go get your M14s and go run some drills. I don't even know what that's all about. Um, but yeah, it's odd times, man. There's a lot of fear in the world. And but when you the older you get, you're just, man, like, fuck the fear, man. You just gotta, you know, take it one step. You gotta work on today. And that's what I'm doing today, is working on some um cannabis here and working on this podcast. I didn't finish this bowl. I was, you know, you look down, you're like, oh, I wonder if I got, and then you're like, oh yeah, I do. But I've been cooking like crazy. And I've been listening to beats. Shout out to Billy Strings. I've just been listening to not all his tunes, but a lot of his tunes. I just think that the banjo is like a cool, maybe it's like going back down south and being in the Appalachian Mountains. And yeah, I heard a lot of that bluegrass music growing up. Um, not a ton. I mean, I grew up in DC, but the side of my dad's family that's from Virginia all listen to country and bluegrass. Um, the Appalachian side of me. Um, but I've been listening to, yeah, Billy Strings. Yeah, I've been enjoying the piano, but I've banjo, but I've also been listening to Wiz Khalifa a ton. I think Wiz Khalifa just did it right in terms of like, he's not that gangster, and but he's not a complete pushover, and he never got into like super heavy drugs, but he just smoked and partied, and he made a ton of music. Like he still makes the thing. What he did, I saw it happen. Like he just made videos. Like he just kept on making videos, like with the SLR. He just made, you know, those guys just put the pedal. Him and Currency have a great song called The Count. Wiz Khalifa and Currency. Currency is a big, heavy smoker, and also, but he was signed to Lil Wayne's. He was with Cash Money when he first started from New Orleans, but a great smoker. And I actually, me and Jordan Rock smoked out with Currency, and I actually I think I opened for Currency at a Cannabis Cup in San Francisco one time, and then we also hung out and did bong hits with Jordan Rock one time at High Times back in the day. But he nice dude, just nice stoner cat. But they got a great song. Like those guys just did it right. Like they're just rappers that are widely popular, but they're not that, you know, they don't talk about shooting motherfuckers. Um speak been but I've been cooking, but that's I've been listening to a lot of Wiz Khalifa. The production value and the vibe is always party. Like his vibe is just, you know, roll one up. I'm balling out. Shout out Taylor Gang. I'm gonna be the oldest member of the Taylor Gang. That's me. I'm official. I'm down with Taylor Gang. Shout out Wiz Khalifa. We got to get you on the podcast. I'd love to smoke with that dude. Him and Currency. Yeah, they're just really legit stoners, but also you can tell they're good dudes, and but they do business big. They make, I like seeing successful stoners. We are starting to get ads on this, so I know the numbers are there. I just haven't able to get my wingspan around everything that's moving. I'm gonna have to delegate some of this off as we start growing and start doing more. I got some guests booked up, some big time. Well, I shouldn't say big time. I don't know. It's because they could back out. I like to go with feel. So whoever I'm hanging with and vibing with, and I think may it would be funny, or it wouldn't be that big of a hassle, I like to have on the show. Because I definitely need. There's so many coffee shops that I need to go out there and get it. It's just filming. I'm figuring all that out now, but I got the right equipment. I'm at that point where I'm like chugging iced coffee, like almost to the point where I could, like, I'm just like pouring it right down my gullet, almost like an espresso shot, like every time. because this stuff is so strong. But it kind of, it balances out the herbo, and the herbo balances out the coffee. So together, it's a big mess. No, it can be, but it just works with me. What works with me might not work with you. But I have been drinking a lot of water, and I have been getting out to nature. That's what I've been doing with this extra energy. I think the herb and the coffee, it always went with writing comedy. And just taking some of the hits in comedy, and over the years. But none of it was like hits. Like, you can't ever look at any of this stuff as suffering in terms of if you're going towards your dream, because, it's got a purpose. It's going somewhere. The worst is when it's not going somewhere. So find somewhere to go. Go there. And feel it out. Everything is feel. I feel like this podcast is growing every day, and I'm getting better at it. And I want to involve music a little bit more. I've been playing with a band lab. This band lab, that's pretty dope. It's a website that you can make beats and stuff on. So I've been playing with that. Also been playing with my phone, making music on that. But then my thumb always hurts, so I'm like, I gotta get off this fucking phone. Fucking get this. I was scrolling too much on that thing, man. In the middle of the night, you just go for it because you're like, oh, I gotta see what time it is, and then that's when they get you. But I've been good about like focusing and not doing it all too much. But yeah, I made the most bomb chicken parm the other night. I got the organic breasts, but then I pound it. You gotta smack that chicken. You gotta beat it down. And then I got egg, and then I just took the egg white, like I cracked the egg, and then I took the yellow out, and then I put in olive oil, and then I whipped that up, right? And then I went to this Italian, old Italian store that has like the most bomb ass ravioli and sauce in New York, in Brooklyn. And I got some breadcrumbs from there. It's only like $3, and they give you a big vat of this like fresh, like breadcrumbs with fresh spices. And so then I fried the chicken up a little bit, and then dipped it, and then put it in the breadcrumbs, and then put it back in the frying pan, but then put the frying pan into the oven after sizzling it and getting it nice and griddled out. And then I put the griddle into the oven, and then I put that on 400 and let it rock for about 20 minutes. And then I pour sauce, a big jar of marinara, like this Italian style sauce. Not expensive, but just like a basic Italian, but it's like real. It's not ragu. It ain't just straight sugar. The shit was like straight tomatoes from Sicily. And I poured that on there, and then I hit it with the mozzarella like last minute, put it back in the oven. So it melts, and you want that melt to be like a French onion soup. That French onion soup, I've been watching Diners, Drivers, and Dives. He's got a couple menus about. I was looking at some of his French onion soups. That's just like melted mozzarella. Something about mozzarella being melted. I mean, that's all pizza is. And I love pizza. That's half the reason. It's like New York. I love the pizza. I love the coffee. They got great coffee. I love the streets. I love the walk-in. Love the subway. It's all opening up, but it's all very busy. So it's nice to duck out and have a little cannabis and have a little bit of coffee, like on this podcast. But I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. And peace. One love.